In this video, we're gonna work on finding the signs of trigonometric functions. So, we have here a tool. Ayan, this one is our tool. So, using this tool, we're going to find the signs of trig functions. This is a great way that you can easily memorize whether the sine, cosine, or any other trig functions should be positive or negative. So, let's see what exactly information it will give us. Okay. When you're doing different trig functions, like for example, ayan, pare, naghahanap ka. You're looking for the sine 43 degrees. And then you're asking, what is the sign of sine 43 degrees? Is it positive or is it negative? And then, yan, hindi mo alam kung ano ang sign. But using this tool, malalaman mo kung ano ang sign ng hinahanap mong trig functions. Actually, if you know what quadrant is the angle location, it is easy for us to identify the signs, di ba? Alam mo agad ang signs ng trig functions mo. And this all letters tell you what trig functions are going to be positive or negative. So, for example, in quadrant 1, we have letter A, meaning that is all. All trig functions are positive. So, positive yan. From yung 6 trig functions natin, the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent, they are all positive. In quadrant 2, so here is our quadrant 2. Again, this one is our quadrant 1. Let's have quadrant 2. This S means that is for the sine. And we know that sine and its reciprocal are going to be positive. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang si sine ang positive, pati ang reciprocal niya. The reciprocal of our sine is cosecant. So, meaning, yung dalawang trig functions ang positive. How about the other trig functions? Yung iba nating trig function, they become negative. Okay, for quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, we have letter T, meaning that is for the tangent. And its reciprocal, the reciprocal of tangent is cotangent, meaning the tangent and cotangent are positive in third quadrant. The rest, they are negative. In fourth quadrant, we have letter C, that is for the cosine. And its reciprocal, ang reciprocal ng ating cosine, that is secant. Meaning, the cosine and secant are positive in quadrant 4. The rest, they are all negative. Now that you know which function will be positive in which quadrant, how can you remember this very quickly? Paano ba natin ma-memorize yan? Okay, so let's have a mnemonic to remember the signs of this trig function. So let's have, for quadrant 1, we have the word all. You have the word all. For the S, you have the student. For T, you have take. For the C, you have calculus. So, the mnemonic for here, all students take calculus para hindi nyo siya makalimutan. And now you know which trig functions associate with them. So, let's have an example. Okay, determine in which quadrant theta lies if theta is an angle in standard position. So, let's have number 1, sine theta is greater than 0 and cosine theta is less than 0. So, let's have the solution for number 1. So, to solve that, let's start with sine theta. So, sine theta is greater than 0. So, meaning your sine theta is positive. So, let's write it. So, your sine theta is positive. So, change tayo ng color. So, your sine theta is positive. So, for the sine theta, using our tool, we know that in quadrant 2, your sine here is positive. And also, in quadrant 1, sa ating all, sine also is positive. So, meaning, shade natin para mas makita natin. So, yan. So, this one is the sine. Positive siya sa part na yan. And let's proceed to cosine theta. For our cosine theta, we have less than 0. If that is less than 0, meaning your cosine theta is negative. So, let's go back to our tool. We know that in quadrant 4, our cosine is positive. And also, in quadrant 1, your cosine is positive. Kung positive sila sa part na to, since ang given natin ay negative, meaning ang shade natin itong part na to kasi dito siya negative. So, let's shade that. So, this one now is your cosine. Dito siya negative. Ayan. So, this time, how are you going to determine in which quadrant theta lies? So, tumingin ka ngayon sa quadrant wherein nag-intersect yung shades mo sa quadrant na yon. And in this case, in quadrant 2, nag-intersect ang ating shades. So, meaning, in quadrant 2, your sine here is positive while your cosine is a negative. Meaning, the answer for number 1 is quadrant 2. So, we have now quadrant 2. Okay, so let's have example number 2. So, we have cosecant theta is greater than 0 and secant theta is greater than 0. Okay, so you need to determine in which this theta lies. So, let's start with cosecant theta. We have greater than 0. So, what is the sign of that? Since that is greater than 0, meaning your cosecant is positive. So, this one is positive. And your secant theta is greater than 0, meaning the secant theta is positive also. Ayan. Start tayo with cosecant theta. Okay. Cosecant theta, using this tool, positive daw. Kung makikita mo dyan, wala naman nakalagay dyan na cosecant theta, diba? And according sa ating introduction, cosecant theta is a reciprocal of your sine theta. And this cosecant theta is positive in quadrant 2. So, meaning, so ayan, positive siya. And we have also the all, meaning the cosecant theta here is also positive. So, meaning, isa-shade natin yung upper part na to. So, shade natin. Yan, shade natin. Cosecant here is positive. Okay, next is, let's have the secant theta. Secant theta is greater than 0, meaning your secant theta is positive. Secant theta is the reciprocal of your cosine. And the cosine is located in quadrant 4, meaning in quadrant 4, your secant theta is also positive. Kung positive siya dito, and sa all natin, sa quadrant 1, all trig functions are positive, meaning sa part na to, positive ang ating secant theta. So, let's highlight that. So, ayan. And then, ayan, how are you going to determine in which quadrant that theta lies? So, doon sa mag-i-intersect ang shades natin. And, in this case, sa quadrant 1, nag-intersect ang ating shades. So, meaning, in quadrant 1, the cosecant theta is positive and secant theta is also positive. So, the answer here is quadrant 1.